Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pearls of Wisdom. We have spring equinox and dark moon, and this is quite an amazing chart again. Have a look at that. This is really very powerful what's happening now. And you can see here that we have a lot of planets in Pisces, actually 6 of them. So I also want to highlight here again, I just realized that I can make that bigger. So see, you can see in the Western astrology, we have it here at 1 degree, just coming into 1 degree of Aries. But when you look at the real star constellation up here, we are in Pisces. And I want to say that once again, because it is really important to understand that the picture that Western astrology is working with is like the stars were in the sky 2000 years ago. And when we consider the solar year of 25,920 years, when we calculate the zodiac moves 1 degree every 72 years. So we are 28 degrees different, and it's going backwards, the zodiac, so we are in Pisces. Now you can see that the Sun and Moon conjunction is exactly in the half sum of Mercury and Neptune. Now, it's very funny. I did record the reading actually yesterday, and then suddenly about halfway through, my dogs went absolutely crazy and bark, and then the electricity went off, so I kind of gave up. And I said, okay, I'm gonna do it today again. I may have said something that was not accurate or whatever, but this is so typical. Things like that happen with the very strong Neptune Mercury. We are still tapping in the unknown, in the kind of mist. So it reminds me that we are just we just boarded the bark of the mystical island of Avalon and are now going through the mist. And it's very difficult to understand certain things. And for me, sometimes to express it, because my progressive Mercury is also retrograde. But you know, the good thing about this, I've never had so much deep insights, because once I understand that my personality does not know anything at all, but it is my higher self. So I go to my higher self and use my personality as an expression of the higher. And this is much better. And you know, those who know me, they know what I'm preaching all the time: surrender to the divine self and ask for guidance there. And that's more or less also a topic here when we look at this Sun and Moon conjunction in Pisces. And then we have Jupiter and Chiron in Pisces on the cusp of 8th house. And so there is still a lot of transformation going on. The expansion is not yet outside. This is still kind of everything on the outside is still crumbling. And it's still about healing and about getting all these skeletons out of the cellar to bring them to the surface so it can be dismantled. And then afterwards, it can be healed. When you look out in the world and you see how much compliance there still is, how many people don't take back their power, it is very clear that we cannot be further in our process. Now, what is very clear for me too, and this is something about also hijacked religion, hijacked New Age, everything. We are so much trained to wait for a savior. This is one of the biggest brainwash that is around us. We have to wait for a savior. But this is very, very difficult and not true. Because if you go and listen closer, we have the Christ is coming back, yes. But this is the consciousness, the Christ consciousness, and the Christ is not the person that was living, that we, most of us, know as Jesus. Jesus was a master. He has achieved mastery and enlightenment. But we all have to do it too. He is not taking that away. And what is returning at that time was gone is the Christ consciousness, but we have to manifest it within ourselves, and that is the sign of Pisces. This is that Christ consciousness. We are not yet in the Aquarius, age of Aquarius, if you look in the real star constellation, but it doesn't matter. We are at the end of a cycle and we have entered the photon belt, the light energy that will shift everything, even if we are still going through the age of Pisces. Now, the Jupiter-Chiron conjunction is very clear about this expanding on a different level, healing our connection to the Christ consciousness. You see, we have here a yellow line. This is a 72 Venus aspect, and this is on the last degree connected with Mars in Taurus. So that means with the energy, if we focus on our energy and expand our inner journey into healing, into also unlearning everything what has been taught, everything what has been told us to believe. And you know that I've started with electroculture. And I tell you, it's absolutely mind-blowing. My little lemon trees are just shooting up. The leaves are about a third at least bigger than from the old trees. So you can see that all this chemical fertilizer and all that stuff that we are being told that is good, what I also believed some 20 some years ago, whatever. But this is all a lie. This is including the Western allopathic medicine. This is all chemical made. Remember, now we go in and remember to heal. It's like our body's made of the element of nature. So in nature, everything is here, what we need. We don't have to look for it. It's all here. I want to show you quickly something. I was making cannabis, and I just put on my tincture. This is cannabis leaves and flowers, and I have made another tincture is ready in the making for only the roots. And then I'm also making it in my slow cooker. Then I have with oil and water, so I can make creams and balms. See, this is something that is easy. You can even today, most people can buy herbs if you cannot grow them themselves. You can buy your herbs and you can make your own tinctures. You can find very easy recipes online how to do it. It's very easy, and it's very important that we move on and start to make our own medicine, to take back our power, to take care of our own health. Now, this is the Chiron here in Pisces 8th house. We are going into this transformation with the expansion of our healing, and in that way manifesting a new energy, a new power. And then this is a square going to Sun and Moon. So we can see that there is still a lot of resistance, especially emotional resistance. And that is clear in a way. Just imagine how much we have a belief system that is actually so deep ingrained in us that it's very difficult to move beyond. But there is no way. We have to go. We have to move beyond, because it will all crash. So if you are prepared, if you move on to a higher consciousness, if you move on to ways to do things in a different fashion and go back to nature, what is coming will not be so much surprising for you, and you will be able to take it with ease and with grace. And then we have a trine that is going to Saturn. See, Saturn usually as the enemy, also like in the satanic Saturn cults, is, you know, every energy that in here is in here. If you look not from duality, from the judgment, from the 1 and 0. And I again listened to that video from Saratoga Ocean where she explains that. I have made a link in one of my last videos. The 0 and 1 is the artificial part within us. Polarity, it's such. is the one, is the oneness, and it's the part of the oneness that we are all part of. And now we don't need to create another artificial intelligence. We have a divine intelligence, and that's what we have to follow. And now from this part of Saturn is just meaning, like, we have the cross here on top, we have the moon hanging here on the vertical line. And that means the soul in the underworld. And that represents the end of something. So it is very often Saturn is the end of life, our physical life, because it's connected with Capricorn, which is the last earth sign, is meaning where we live our physical body. So when we have a trine, and see, a trine is like, if you are ready to die, to let go. Here, see, we have a whole triangle here with a karma part here. That is also, again, the karma part, we can say, is also the brainwash. That's what we believe since years, and not just in this lifetime, that we have been conditioned for thousands of years. So now we move beyond that, beyond that mistake, beyond that, you know, the mistake, again, we missed to take something. It's not something we have. You cannot have a mistake. The word indicates already that you missed to take it. So what we miss to take is, or what we miss to do is the reconnection to our divine self. Because when you look into the Bible and religion, it is definitely not anymore the pure teaching of the master, who said at one point, what I can do, you can do too, and even more. So that means the whole teaching goes towards that at one point we will be able to reconnect with the divine within, to have that direct line within ourselves. And that is that life spark that we receive when we are incarnated, that is eternal within us during this lifetime, and that is what is leaving with us, the body, when we move on. So once we make peace with this consciousness and we expand further and further into the healing of ourselves, then we will have a very different future also, and things on the earth will go much faster. Again, don't wait for a savior to save us. You have to stand up. You have to live your truth, your personal truth. You have to stand up, even maybe on the political scene, wherever, in whatever situation in life you are. You might have to stand up against the medical lobby. You might have to stand up against other things that are going on, especially think about the children. And this is unfortunately very, very true, what's going on there. We have to engage ourselves in one or another way to redeem the planet, to bring back in here that Christ consciousness that we now bring back onto the planet. And then things will happen automatically. You know, this sounds maybe crazy, but when I turn on the light in a dark room, the darkness is gone. I can even open wide windows when the outside is dark, the darkness is not coming in. But if I don't have light, the darkness can take over. So when we are turning on that light, when we have that light in our heart and we expand it, that we become like a light bulb for others, and that we do what we believe in, then we can help to heal the world. And within the world, healing is me included too. And here we have Node and Venus. You see that we can say humanity, Venus. Remember those who have seen other videos, Venus, we have the circle and we have the cross. So this is the consciousness, the divine materializing. This is in a way the goddess within. And if you're man or woman, it doesn't matter, you have it. But you have a gender and there is just two of them and there is absolutely nothing else. And in Aries, we also have here, we have Uranus that has entered actually around the time when all the big drama have started. And now we can see why, and we can see again the reason that again am an advocate of star constellations, because it is so much clear what is happening in the world. And now we will see, when Aries is moving into Taurus, then a new world will manifest. But we are not there yet. It's very clear. And you will see also when we go forward in the next full moon, the next dark moon, sorry, will be on 0 degree Aries. That is a very, very big breakthrough point again. And this month again is that part that we have to go inside and look at all these skeletons in the cellar that are still there. What belief systems do you still have that are connected with some norm, with some religion, with some, but if you really deep dive into your heart, what is still there that does not sound right? It is very difficult because we are all embedded in the world as is now. We are all here somewhere, and we hear still, even if we don't listen to the news, even the alternative channels are very much compromised. And the longer I search, the more I find things that are absolutely weird and that I see very clearly cannot be true. So be very careful. You know, one thing that helps me a lot is kinesiology or pendulum. Like if I do kinesiology, I will, for example, when I hear something, I can check it with my hand, I can check it with my body. And it gives me always the right information, if it's true or not, or half true, you know. It's like that going forwards, backwards is kind of part true, part is not true. But it's very clear when you go and look at things like this, then a lot of it's deception even there. So the summary of what we have to do is now with moon and sun here in Pisces, and also considering that we have the spring equinox, we are moving now. The light in the northern hemisphere is expanding, and most of this political power is in the northern hemisphere. There is also very much in the southern hemisphere, especially Australia and New Zealand, and they are going towards darkness, towards the winter. Now, especially in these countries, you have to be very, very much aware that you don't go with the darkness. In the northern hemisphere, we will see a lot of people will, through the energy, through the lengthening of the days, will have even more light that is from the outside flowing in and influencing them. We know from countries, especially countries that are very much in the north, that in the winter they have hardly any daylight anymore, that the depression and alcohol and other drugs is a very big problem, because we need light. We need the light of the day, we need the light of the sun to help us to stay healthy. Now, when we are moving towards the light with this Pisces energy, we can help ourselves to become much, much stronger in self. What I do, for example, also in the morning when I go out and walk in the grass barefoot and swim, I greet the earth, I greet the sun, and I ask the sun, the father energy, the sun energy, to help me to reinforce the light within myself. So that you can do something like that, even if you don't see the sun, you can still do it. You can imagine it. Connect the outer sun with your inner sun, with that God divine spark within, and ask it to expand. And this is actually easier. The more light we have, the easier it is. Yeah, we have also Neptune here. This is that transformation that is helping us to move into another consciousness. And we have to move the consciousness of the whole planet, you know. But again, remember, once there is light, the darkness is gone. But as long as we live here in the polarity, in the 3 dimension, we have a shadow. And it's very important to face the shadow and not just to run away. So look at the shadow, bring it to the light, and look what is still hidden within you. And then you don't need to fear it, because light and dark even in a higher realm of consciousness, is natural, like the daylight, you know, and the night. We need both energies to be balanced. We need to breathe in and to breathe out. We cannot just breathe in. So again, this way that we exist within polarity. Existere means stepping out. We have stepped out of the divine unity into existence to experience. The divine within us is the one that is experienced to be human. So our first task in a way is to learn to be human, because this is not our nature. But most people have completely lost that, and they think they are human instead of understanding you are a spiritual divine being having a human experience. So this is the next couple weeks. I hope that will give you some insights. The MC is Taurus. That is, you know, the MC, the goal that we reach from the root from Scorpio to Sagittarius, is that all this old is flowing away, is being transformed. And it's like in the garden, when you put some fertilizer, you know, I use cow shit that we use here from the chickens. That is the base of the material food that the plants need to grow more nicely. So we can also use all our past experiences, including all our negative experiences, to grow the new consciousness out of it. I hope the reading can help you a little bit to understand what's coming up the next couple of weeks. And I look forward to see you again in 2 weeks when I do my new reading. If you like the reading, please give me a thumbs up, and bye-bye for now.